Hello and welcome back. Facial recognition has completely transformed the way we move through airports, and Digi Yatra has been at the heart of this change. Today, we have with us Siddharth Sharma, Head of IT Operations from Digi Yatra. Welcome, Siddharth.
So, Siddharth, before I dive into the future and technological terms, I would like to understand how Digi Yatra came to the picture.
So thank you, Ashok. Before I dive into Digi Yatra, thank you so much for this opportunity to have this conversation with a larger audience and talk about Digi Yatra and the tech we have. And the place is also very special to me. As we were speaking earlier, that I actually started my journey into the corporate world from PCQ. So I used to write for PC Quest earlier. So it's a very
And that's a great connection for us.
yeah, that's correct. So coming back to Digi Yatra, so what was the inspiration? So this question gets asked many a times, like what inspired you guys to do Digi Yatra?
Because in the world, nobody thought about it. This was the first, and you did it in India.
So that's true. So the biometric solutions and the solutions are there globally. People are trying to do various airports are trying to do various initiatives using the facial identity and using the digital travel credentials. However, the scale what we have achieved and the way we have achieved when we will talk about the technology architecture, that is something which is unique. So that the way we have done it, that way it has not happened anywhere globally at the scale which we are doing it. So coming back to the inspiration, the simple inspiration was to streamline the passenger journey. When you walk through the airport to various touch points, entry, security, and boarding gate being the key ones, can that experience be made into a walk in the park kind of an experience? That was a simple inspiration for everyone when this started off. It started off pretty early, somewhere around 2015 was the early initiatives which were done by the one of the key leading airports in the country, and it was then showcased to the ministry, and it was realized that it should be a pan-India kind of a solution, and that is how our ministry created a Digi Yatra Foundation, or a small body which will take care of this initiative. And it's an industry-led initiative which is very well supported by Ministry of Civil Aviation. Not many people know it is. That is the guiding ministry for us. And the Digi Yatra Foundation is a not-for-profit Section 8 company. So we are not here in it for profit goals. And it is on the board of the Digi Yatra Foundation sits the Airport Authority of India, which has the 26% stake, and rest of the 74% is divided among the key public-private airports in India. Now coming back again as a simple inspiration that for the smile of the passengers, I love to quote one anecdote here. When earlier, before part of the foundation, I was at the Delhi Airport and GMR Group, wherein we were trying to roll out the solution at Delhi Airport during the early days. And there was this passenger, 60 years or maybe more than that. And we were doing limited trials at the airports during the period of 15th August when it was a soft launch till the December 2022. This is I'm talking about 2022. And this passenger walked up to me and said, "Can you help me on board? Idhar kya ho raha hai? I want to experience it. What is it?" And when we were doing all our initial persona creations and all, who will use it, who is my target audience, this was the last which we thought of. And then when you are on the ground and such things happen, then we onboarded that passenger within 2 minutes, or maybe less than that, using the Digi Yatra application. And then we told him that you now just show your face and you will be able to cross through. He said, "Really? Will it happen like that?" He was very skeptical.
Yeah.
And then it really stood in front of the gate, and the gate opened after all the validations, and he was on the other side. And he turned back and said, "Kamal ho gaya, maza aa gaya." And he had a big smile on his face. And this is what inspired, and this was the real fees for Digi Yatra.
I do the same experience for me as well when I used it in Bhavishwar 2022, I guess, was my first experience with Digi Yatra. So as in beginning I told you कि half an hour to लगता है. Entry gate, yes, security check, and then you are passing through multiple gates.
Yes.
When I used Digi Yatra for the first time, it was only 10 minutes to cross everything.
Yes.
And I was on the right place, now you have to boot the swap only. Nothing is left.
So you rightly said it. From half an hour to 10 minutes is what the benchmark is, what we've achieved, and that was the inspiration. And we strive to add it to more touch points as we move along and keep moving on this journey and keeping the core ideology of doing meaningful interventions. Not technology should not be just there. There should be meaningful interventions, as our CEO loves to say that. The meaningful interventions into the passenger journey.
Utilizing the technology, easing the task seamlessly.
Yes.
So it's talking as you are saying कि ये हुआ ऐसे हुआ. Maybe a few minutes you told the story. But developing this technology is not that easy. Multiple challenges रहे होंगे, बहुत सारे regulations आए होंगे. So can you touch upon those things? And majorly, I would like to understand the privacy part, which is major right now. DPDP is already there. So please touch on those points.
Definitely. So before I go there, let me spend some time explaining the tech behind it, because it's, as I was saying earlier, it's not the facial biometric part which is the key here. Many solutions exist globally, many experiments are happening, many production level solutions are there for the biometric. The key to the whole platform or Digi Yatra is, if I have to sum it up in one word, it's a privacy first solution. Okay. It's a privacy first. We keep privacy at the core. Any feature functionality which gets developed as we move along also until date is with the question, is it intruding into the passengers or customers' privacy or not? And if the answer is yes, we try to not pick it up. We are adhering to almost the 7 principles are there in any privacy by design architecture, and we adhere to all of them. And to talk about it, how we do it, we have completely reduced our threat surface, as you might want to call it, in the cyber security realm. That why does everyone want to have an access to your backend and all to get access to data, right? Personal data, and being a biometric solution, clicking the photographs and creating an IDs, we all have a perception the moment the click happens on the phone, oh, this gets stored somewhere. Now you have taken my biometric identity, you will link it with multiple things, you'll link it with my travel journey, and you'll be able to track me. No, that's not possible, because the core of the architecture, as I said, it's by design. Privacy is not an afterthought. The solution is built with zero storage and zero server architecture. We don't have any central storage to store any of the PII.
So the same thought I had, कि you must be storing my Aadhaar number and facial data. Everything must be with you. But you are saying you are not storing anything?
No, nothing. Zero data storage. And let's take a step back and see the Digi Yatra journey when you onboarded. Maybe some things which were so obvious but didn't get noticed, right? So once you download the app, the first thing which somebody has to use the app is you have to authenticate yourself. Otherwise, you can't do anything on the app, right? And you enter your phone number, give your OTP. Now, this phone number and OTP it remains here. So there is no linking of this phone number and OTP with the rest of the user journey. So that phone number and OTP is OTP-based validation, which was done with the phone number. The purpose of that is to give a safe access to the app to the backend ecosystem. Okay. For the validation, so that the requests are coming from the valid device, right? So that's the first one. Then you have to onboard using Aadhaar. The moment word Aadhaar comes, everybody thinks a lot of data now is you're ingesting a lot of data. But I would want you to go back to the journey and recall that once you had done your OTP-based authentication with the Aadhaar, what is it that got pulled from Aadhaar? It was your selfie, your name, your gender, your date of birth, and the masked Aadhaar.
Only these things?
And the masked Aadhaar, yeah. And only these things. So
my Aadhaar's last 4 digits are with you. Rest is nothing.
It's not even with me. I'll come to that. Okay. So when we fetch from Aadhaar, only these things are fetched. And we by default, we are doing only the last 4 digits, like masked Aadhaar. Not many applications do this by default. And you would notice that Aadhaar has your address also, but we didn't pull it because we don't need it for you to go through the...
It is connected to PAN card, bank account, everything is connected to Aadhaar, right?
Yes. So data minimalization is practiced there. That's one of the core principles of privacy by design. You will take data what you need. You will not take what is not required for the use case. Now, these data points are fetched and will be required for the next step, wherein in any ID solution, the next step is that we need to authenticate that this ID belongs to you and you have a proof of presence and the possession of the document, right? So we ask you to take your selfie, and this selfie along with this data is sent to the backends, and that is where the one first facial matching happens. That the image which is in the selfie and the image which came from Aadhaar is matching with each other.
Okay.
And that is where we used, if these two things are matching with each other, then only it goes to the next step. If it is not matching, the journey stops here. Because then the proof of presence is not established, that you are the one who fits the data from the Aadhaar. Images are matching with each other. If it's a success, it goes to the next step. And this is where the next step, the core tech comes into picture. Facial matching and all, it's a pretty mature technology now, facial recognition and facial matching technologies. What happens at the next step is something which has not been done at a scale globally. So that is where the blockchain comes into picture.
Okay.
And what we do is we create something called verified credential.
Okay.
The data points which were taken from the Aadhaar are digitally signed.
Okay.
And and while digitally signing it, we take the selfie, not the Aadhaar image. The selfie which you had provided. Your selfie along with the rest of the details are digitally signed now and stamped that yes, this belongs to you, this is valid, this has come from an authentic source which is Aadhaar, and this verified credential is then sent back to the user's phone. And any data which was required to do this activity is purged immediately. And that also happens systemically by design because, as I said, there is no server, there is no storage, everything was happening in memory on the cloud. And the moment this transaction was done, the purpose is solved, that thing is no longer there in the system. So it comes and sits in your phone, right? So let me explain this in a very, with an example which we all are aware of. In past, we would have taken a Xerox copy, right, of an original. And you would have taken the Xerox copy to the guested officer because your university wanted a guested officer stamp on it, right? So what happens there is that guested officer stamps it, right?
Just to verify,
and it looks into the original,
right?
And then you give this to the university,
Right.
So there are three players in this whole ecosystem, which wherein you created a trust triangle or a trust ecosystem. The holder, who was the original document holder, who went to the guested officer saying stamp it. So, and then the Xerox copy was issued with a stamp. So that's something called issuer. Now this Xerox copy is kind of a verified copy, right? So verified credential, which I just spoke about a while back, which we create, is nothing but like a verified Xerox copy, right? So, and the stamp, we are stamping it. Now we are stamping it digitally using the blockchain technology. We uses this whole thing is called self-sovereign identity concept or a decentralized ID, and the systems can talk to each other on some protocols called DIGs or decentralized identifiers, right? Now this Xerox copy is, or the digital version of it is given back to you to store on the phone because this belongs to you. I don't want to keep it. It's with you. What I need is to establish that yes, it was verified by me. It's like this. Tomorrow guested officer can, how do you know that it's a valid? Because you look at the stamp and it's a valid stamp. Tomorrow, if somebody asks the guested officer, did you authenticate it? He will look at the stamp and say yes or no. So in this triangle, this SSI triangle or trust triangle, this is called proof value.
Okay.
So along with your ID details, a proof value is sent back to the user's phone and gets stored decentralized on the user's phone forever till you delete it yourself.
They're utilizing blockchain technology and tokenization kind of something, or just
only for this purpose,
not only for this?
Yeah. So okay. So we create a hash value is there. So the hash value is that proof value which stores on the phone. Now within Digi Yatra ecosystem, now if I go back to the guested officer, Digi Yatra is that guest officer who authenticated it. You are the holder of your ID document. Your ID is digitally verified and brought in. And now we need the third party who will need to verify it, right? Like earlier, let's say in the Xerox copy, it was the university. Now here we started off with the use case of airports. At the airport, when you go manually, you need your ID, you need your boot travel details to pass through the touch points, right? So the ID part is something which we have taken care of at the time of registrations.
Right.
It was validated with Aadhaar. It is stored on your phone, and whenever you're travel ready, you need another document which is called boarding pass. Right. Now, boarding pass is something which you, before when you're travel ready and you're done your check-in, then only you get your boarding pass. And every boarding pass carries a barcode or a QR code. Right. So you will notice that there are 3 ways you can link your boarding pass: by scanning it, by uploading a PDF, or uploading a image. Right. Any of these 3 methods, what we try to do is we try to find the QR code in it, either by scanning or PDF. Then we'll try to find it. There is a backend algorithm which tries to find a QR code and then pull out the data from the QR code. We don't take anything which is printed on the boarding pass. So print is not what we are relying on, because that can be spoofed. So the QR code has the data, and this QR, and why we chose QR code also was the reason that it is standardized globally. So there is a regulation which says that what should be printed in the QR code, and or the barcode, and it's a global regulation, and it's a global from IATA, and it defines it should carry this data point, and that data points are what? The 20 characters of your name, only 20 characters of your name, your flight number, your day of travel, your seat number, your origin destination, and something called sequence number. Okay, so only these data points are there. Nothing else is there in that QR code. We fetch that data, we combine this with your VC which was created earlier, and we send it to the airport who is Digi Yatra ready. Now, what does a Digi Yatra ready airport means? It's a verifier mode. Like a university who verifies you, airport is a verifier in this case, needs to verify it, establish that you are the bona fide passenger who can get access to the airport. Now, at the time, so we have done an API handshake. Today, the solution is live at 24 airports in India. Started off with 3 airports in 2022. Within 2 years, we have scaled to 24 airports, and more than 11 million users have downloaded the app and shouldered trust in the system. And these 11 million users have used it for more than 45 million times at the participating airports. Yes. So these are the kind of staggering numbers which we are talking about, the scale. So now this airport, before consuming it, they will send a request back to the Digi Yatra ecosystem. Did you verify it? Is this a valid document or not? So once those protocols and those exchanges have happened, and there is a positive message from the Digi Yatra verifier node, then airport consume it and store it in their gallery for 24 hours. Now at this point, the Digi Yatra active role ends, because the only purpose of the app was to for a passenger to send the data to the airport and call themselves as travel ready. Because when you are arriving at the airport and you're showing these documents and all, they are authenticating you. Right. Now you have already done all that, done the web check-in, took the boarding pass, took the ID, combined it all together into a single token, and given it to the airport with your selfie image for the airport to be able to give you access to the touch points. So you are travel ready. You don't have to pull out any documents at all. You don't have to prove again anywhere. So in the whole travel ecosystem, it's called travel readiness before arriving at the airport. There is a lot of initiatives going on in this. IATA One ID is one of them, wherein they did using digital travel credentials. How do you streamline whole travel? Right. Now, when you arrive at the airport, you're standing in front of the camera, and now everything is happening locally at the airport. There is no server calls. Okay. It is an airport local infrastructure. Now, again, we have decentralized the whole ecosystem here as well. Okay. So, if you have shared the data for Delhi, departing from Delhi, only Delhi will have the access to it in their local environment. If it is for Mumbai, only Mumbai. There is no central storage of this data as well.
Even if I'm traveling from Delhi to Mumbai, only Delhi will have. Okay.
Your selfie and your travel device. So, now this, when you are standing in front of the camera, your image will be taken by the camera and real time sent to the backend system of let's say the airport, the departing airport. They will try to find out if this face is there. They will try to match these two things together, and if this matches, then a call goes to the airline system. Okay, and the airline system validates whether you have a valid ticket today or not. If that also is true, then the gate opens.
So then the communication will happen at that point, and then you can seamlessly access those.
So to just open that gate in milliseconds. This is what happens in the background at the airport as well. So it's a like, as again coming back to the meaningful intervention, it is all hidden from the passengers.
Right. It's seamless for us.
It's seamless for us.
Well, like first uploading our once you are authenticated of the Yatra, you have to upload your tickets, and then QR exactly. Whatever the scanning is happening, that is backend.
Yes, not for me, not for you. Yeah.
So I'm ready to go and scan my face. And
exactly.
Basically, I can enter.
Exactly. So all this without any storage. The second transaction also, when you're sharing it with the airport, Digi Yatra doesn't store anything. Now, when you go and scan the barcode or the QR code of the face at the airport, this information is not sent back to Digi Yatra, because Digi Yatra is only sending information, your travel readiness to the airport, right. Nothing else. So zero storage there. No way I can tell how many trips have been taken by which passenger. And we started calling this as don't know your customer, #DKYC. The world has known EKYC. We want to call it DKYC. And this message we have been telling everyone by if you've not noticed there, it's so yeah, so because this was what we as our challenge. This was the biggest challenge. To how do you work on that perception? Because today we are living in a world where everyone collects our data and we feel it is obvious. No, it is not obvious for Digi Yatra. Digi Yatra is not collecting any data, and we are doing it seamlessly without zero storage. And we, those 11 million users, and the statement which we have used was 11 million users have used it 44 million or 45 million times at the airports. But I cannot tell which user is what. So don't know your customer. I don't want to know our customer. There are enough solutions who are collecting data. Digi Yatra is not one of them.
That's why I didn't get any calls from any cab agency कि चाहे आप दिल्ली से मुंबई ट्रैवल कर रहे हो तो आ जाओ. Even if you are मतलब होता है कि in case you are booking a hotel yes in Mumbai that day, sometimes you get a call from cab agency कि are you coming from which place, so can you grab a taxi? Yeah, but nothing is happening with Digi.
Nothing is happening with Digi Yatra. There is no storage. It can happen from any other system, but not from Digi Yatra, because by design you're not storing anything.
Perfect.
Now the challenge is, so coming back to the challenge, you asked the challenge question, I went into the technology because this was important.
And then I'll share one personal experience with Digi Yatra.
Oh, before I talk of, okay. So challenges, one was, the biggest challenge is this, perception. How do you work on this perception? And that is where we started our own, we thought we'll have to engage with today's audience in the right channel. So that is where we started up social media campaigns to engage with the passengers, to tell them about this. We came up with this don't know your customer, because it is very difficult to tell this concept, because even the techies won't believe. If I tell them there is no storage, how is it possible without storage? It's हो ही नहीं सकता.
क्योंकि मैंने भी जब किया था तो I thought कि आधार तो गए हुए.
Yeah, so this was one thing. So how do you explain it in simple language? So that was one of the biggest challenge during the operational, when we operationalized and we went out there in the market. The other, while during the initial times, as you would have noticed, the stakeholders are events. Your security agencies, your airports, your airport technology providers, your government is a stakeholder. Then passengers, and airport itself is a multi-stakeholder environment, airlines. How do you bring them all together? Like, you're building a solution which has to cut across all these stakeholders, right? And they already have existing systems in place. Then it's not only the people alignment, it is the IT systems alignment also in the backend. You will know how complex it is. And aviation, for the large part of it, is still running on those legacy age-old solutions. So one of the most challenging thing for us was this. So that is where we tried to dovetail into the existing solutions as much as possible. People might ask questions, that integration is not there in place, this is not there in place, you don't show time on the boarding pass, why can't you show it? It's there on the boarding pass, why is it not there in Digi Yatra? There are reasons to it, because we are relying on the QR code, and the QR code doesn't have that information. People have gone ahead to say that Digi Yatra knows my meal preferences. That's not possible, because it's not there in the QR code. So this was one of the biggest challenge, and we tried to minimize it by not disrupting the existing system to as large extent as possible, and dovetailing into the existing technologies, aligning people. Their data played, as I said, it's a no data solution, right? But data still helped us a lot. And I'm talking about the operational data. Some of the decisions which were to be taken during early days operational data played a very key role. Like I'll take one very quick example, which we might not. It's very obvious, but it's always not so visible. That any airline passenger can enter through any gate, right? It's a democratic area. Similar. Then when you go to the check-in counter, it's airline specific. Right. When you go to the security, again, it's a democratic area. Anyone can enter from any zone, right? Boarding gate. It's a one-to-one relationship between airline, one flight and one gate. One flight, one gate. So when I'm rolling out a solution like this, I can have few entry gates, like gate number 1 or 2, which can be Digi Yatra passengers, because I don't know how the adoption is going to be. So initial days, it can be 1 or 2 gates. Because today there is an option of 25% global Indian departing passenger domestic, 25% are Digi Yatris at any given airport. Some airports are as high as 40 as well. But that can be handled through the throughput through 1 or 2 entry gates. I can make them Digi Yatra ready. Rest can be normal entry, which is the case today. Because in privacy by design or in any of these technical solutions, one of the key aspects is there should be an alternative available if I don't want to use it. So that's there with Digi Yatra. You can always access through other touch points, other gates. You can always enter if you want to opt out. Then the second is, again, security will be democratic. So you can have few gates, but you can't do that with boarding gate. Right. Because you don't know of the 100 people who entered through Digi Yatra, which boarding gate will they go to and which flight they will belong to. A solution will have to have all boarding gates ready on day 1. Otherwise, it will not fly. So boarding gate is still the least used touch point because of still the operational issues with the airlines and other things. We are trying to streamline flows and all. So that's still going on. So challenges are still there and we're still working on it. Given the privacy in this, and now the data, how data played a role, which entry gate you should put it to. So during the initial days, we realized Vistara passengers are the maximum ones. I don't know which passenger, but I know airline-wise, each airport will know which airline is the maximum registrations are coming from Digi Yatra, right? Now, my Vistara entry gate, Vistara check-in counter is opposite gate number 2. And if my 80% passengers during initial trial days are from Vistara, I would want to keep my Digi Yatra infrastructure opposite to that check-in counter. I will not want you gate number 8 से enter करे, वो पूरा चल के फिर gate number 2 पे है. No, and this actually happened. Initially वहीं लगाया था, and everybody started jumping. ये तो fail है. This solution will not work. Nobody's using it. Then we looked into the data and we moved that infrastructure here, and rest is history. So these are the insights which definitely are helpful, and these operational insights is something which airports were never there earlier with the manual process. Is something which plays a big role.
In my experience, I can say you have a great facial recognition system available, but sometimes it fails. It happened with me, and when I did the facial verification, I was not wearing my glasses, right? I'm not wearing right now. But when I was checking, so I had those glasses, and it was not able to.
That's right.
So I thought, if it was something which is more advanced, something that can recognize me even with while wearing glasses, that would be even better.
So I'll touch upon this. Yeah. So two things I would want to touch upon here. One is the word facial recognition. Right. So what is facial recognition? When you are able to recognize somebody in a crowd, that's recognition. Right? The term is used interchangeably, but when you get into little details, what Digi Yatra does is not recognition. It's not a surveillance. There are surveillance solutions which are there, which agencies use, wherein you're able to identify in the crowd. Right? If you're standing in a crowd, they will not be able to identify this as Siddharth. Right? So you are standing in a very controlled environment in front of that camera. Your reference image is already there because you opted for it and shared it. So it's a validation happening whether it exists there or not. The person who is standing in front of the camera in a controlled environment, is he there for today's entry to the airport or not? Right? So that is what is the facial validation. So Digi Yatra is a facial validation technology and not a recognition. Coming back to the matching algorithms and the failures, these are algorithms at the end of the day. And what our facial algorithm rely upon is various unique features on the face One very good example is the retina distance. So these are the unique features which for people which it doesn't change over a period of time. It converts your face into that mathematical formula and then try to match these two things together. Now with glasses or with caps, with mask, solutions are there, and these solutions deployed at the airports are also capable of doing it. But it depends upon when at that point in time what was the lighting condition, what was that obstruction which was there on the face, is it covering any of the critical points. Let's say I'm wearing the mask till here, so this is very critical part. Now if this is hidden, that algo might fail. But while if you're wearing a mask little below, it might pass. So the at the end of the day, it's the software and the reliability. So these edge cases can happen.
True. So you might be using AI as well for this. Can you talk about that and what could be the future? Because AI is helping. I can't say that even one industry is not impacted by AI. Whether VR or any other industry, everyone is using AI, some part of it. How you are utilizing AI?
So it's a very simple solution when people use it. But in the background, when we explain, there's a lot of it going on, right? So it's an AI first solution. Facial recognition is AI. So we use facial recognition solutions, right, to identify and match the faces with each other while the onboarding itself. We use 1:1 at that point in time, because your one image is getting matched with the selfie. There we are relying on industry best algorithms. We are not building anything from scratch on our own. So we rely on whatever is already available and working with the best rated algorithms. So that is AI, right? So we and then at the time of onboarding, right, the boarding pass, that's again an algorithm at play there, which is trying to find the QR code in the PDF which you upload. We try to find the QR code. Then a name matching also happens between the Aadhaar name and the boarding pass name. Then again an algorithm there. It's a linear algorithm right now. We are working on making it fuzzy logic, and that's where the AI will definitely play a bigger role. Then when you are at the airports have deployed their own facial validation systems. So again an AI footprint there as well. So now as we move along, this is one area where solutions will keep on evolving. In these areas, I definitely see we will also be adopting to whatever is best in the class, best in the industry, is one as the future grows. Then the second, where we will definitely be utilizing a lot of AI, will be the document validations and verification, because we will not be always a Aadhaar only solution. We have to be more inclusive. So we'll be having more ID documents. For international travel, passport is a very mandatory requirement. Visas are there. So a lot of the solutions which are in this place, which does the document verifications and MRZ readers, NFC readers, that is where again AI will play a critical role, and these solutions which are anti-spoofing and other things are in place. OCR will have to deploy as you move along. Today we don't do OCR, but tomorrow, yes, we will have to. Again at the airport side, this is on the core side. On the back-end side, our development team uses a lot of it for our development practices and development, because AI for automated code generation and other things is happening. We are exploring some things for the automation within the CI/CD pipeline. How can LLMs help? The other very critical area is the chatbot. Okay. So today we get a lot of queries over emails. Email is the only way people can interact with it other than the social. So we keep getting a lot of queries. So we want to automate that through a chatbot. That the basic queries which come to us, how do we build a chatbot which can LLM-based chatbot, multilingual, so that people can interact, voice enabled, so that you can talk to the chatbot. Okay, I've downloaded the app. How do I onboard? Right? Is my data safe and secure at Digi Yatra or not? Some of these questions people can talk and the app can answer. So we're working on these technologies to utilize AI there, because otherwise we don't have any database, right? So there is not enough because any AI solution relies on database. Right. While for the chatbots and all, the data is all available in the public domain. I've responded to so many queries in the last 2 years. So we have been telling the people who want to build a chatbot for us, you don't need anything from me. All my data is here in the social. I have responded to 10,000 queries in the last 2 years. Pick something up from there and do it. So that is another area where we are doing things. Then the multilingual capabilities within the app. We are working closely with Bhashini to enable that on the app. So that is our AI footprint. You will not see it in the personal data realm, but then in these areas, definitely AI we are utilizing and it will help. The other, which is might be core to your interest area, being in the cyber security, analysis of the logs, right, threat patterns and other things. Although our infrastructure has a very limited footprint in terms of threat surface itself, but still the logs are there, right? So we are evaluating some tools there as well. How do you automate those processes using AI?
We talk a lot about technological development you did and how you are storing the data, which is at absolutely zero.
No storage. Decentralized storage on the futuristic.
But nothing at you.
Yeah.
But in India, till now, you spoke about how many airports are enabled by Digi. They are not 100%. All the airports are not enabled by Digi.
Yeah.
So there must be some other kind of maybe infrastructure challenges, or maybe adoption is not there. Whatever the challenges it. Are you looking forward for global adoption? Are you going to those markets as well? Because if I visit to any other country, I have not seen many airport is using Digi Yatra.
Yeah.
So what's your plan around those?
Good question. And before I go there, one more point which got missed. The data which you send to the airport, origin airport, as we spoke about departing airports, that airport has to pulse that data within 24 hours. So long-term storage is not there at the airport also. And we are deploying some of the privacy enhancing techniques there as well for the storage. Like some airports are converting the space image into vectors. Now, from vector and image creation is not a possibility again. So vector can match vector to vector, and your face will give a same vector always. So some airports are storing at the vector level as well. But
So even not more than 24 hours.
so 24 hours of your flight departure. So the moment your flight departs, some airports are actually punching it within 4 to 5 hours also. And that through scripts, not manual intervention. And this we validate through a certain audit once a year.
Okay.
So any airport which is onboarded. Coming back to the adoption and the challenge. So today with 24 airports, we are actually covering around 85 to 90% of the departing passengers in India. In the sense, like they are covered. They want to use Digi Yatra, they can use. Out of those, 25% is the adoption. 25 to 30% is the ballpark adoption which we have today. Globally, we have had a lot of interest from other entities. Our global plans are stepwise, phase-wise. So one is first, we want to include the incoming passengers. If they want to travel domestic, can passport be the verified credential for them, right? For domestic travel, they don't need anything else. So if that is taken care of, that will take care of the incoming foreign travelers who have a chip-based passport. There is a standard approaches there, wherein from ICAO and IATA, which allows you to create digital travel credential using the public key infrastructure of the passport, global passport ecosystem. So PKD infrastructure is there. So using that, enabling that. Then second is departing passengers, Indians to elsewhere in the world, right? So that will get into the realm of other departments and the global data privacy regulations as well. So that's where we are actively looking forward to DPDP to come in and so that we can be at par with some of the other regulations. We are already in discussion with IATA. So there's a global initiative, IATA 1ID, which uses the same concept which we have, and they're trying to build a global standard for it. And they are we are in constant touch, because obviously Digi Yatra has become a torchbearer in the sense of an identity digital ID, because of the scale and the volume we have been able to achieve thanks to our existing infrastructure and the population able to do that. So IATA 1ID is actively looking into it. How can we collaborate and build, learn from each other and do a global standardized solution? If everything goes well and all approvals are in place, because when you talk about international MEA, passport, MHA, other departments come into picture, Bureau of Immigration also comes into picture. So we are actively talking to them to be able to, again, our hallmark will be same, zero data storage, right? And how can we latch on to the existing infrastructure? Because creating a new infrastructure is something which we'll not want to do. BOI already has TTK, Trusted Traveler Program, to fast track your travel. How can the collaboration happen and the same infrastructure can be enabled through some intervention from Digi Yatra? So those we are exploring. Global airports, yes, some countries have shown interest. How do we do that? And we are in touch, and the technologies all exist. I think if the other approvals and are all in place, you will see some things moving in that direction also. We definitely have other.
I would love to see a seamless integration.
Yes.
Not only at airport.
Yes.
Even if it is possible for railway stations as well. So, I don't know Digi Yatra or any other technology that can be utilized to seamless entire process for traveling.
Very much possible. So one thing which we are working on is to open this as a SDK, like a digital public infrastructure, open the stack wherein people can create verified credentials using the infrastructure. So tomorrow, if somebody railways want to do it, they can utilize this infrastructure. There are some initiatives from UIDI also now to move on to the verified credential approach and being able to issue verified credential using the Aadhaar ecosystem directly from Aadhaar as well. So initiatives are happening, and MIT is also actively looking at it. Because when DPDPA coming in, there is a lot of focus upon privacy enhancing technologies. Now they're talking about enhancing. We're already doing it. But although I love to say that sab bolte hain, hum karte hain. So we've been doing it for 2 years now, and it's a successful initiative which is there. So we don't have to enhance privacy with Digi Yatra. It's all comes by default.
Right.
So there will be focus. There will be with DPDP will give a lot of push to some of these technologies and approaches which organizations will start looking into, and we will see in coming days. I feel this decentralized approach is the way to go, because there's enough data. Around, we already have given all our profiles everywhere. We already are documents are floating around in the hotels, and so that has passed. Next, I don't know how much of that can be cleaned up, but at least whatever new is getting built should be with a fresh thought of privacy by design, and the privacy as the code.
As a vision of Modi ji, he is planning to have a bullet train in India, and possibly Digi Yatra will be available at that. Those stations,
Yeah.
and you have to just pass on
Yeah.
using Digi Yatra, and you will be boarding the bullet train.
So anywhere where there is a need to prove your identity, this can be utilized as a privacy preserving approach to do it. We are working on few things wherein a QR code with like a UPI, a QR code of your facial with you always, which can be utilized. So that decentralizes it completely.
Okay.
Now you don't have to share it also. Scan the QR codes, validation. We are working on some of these things.
Single ID verification, and then it is available across.
No, so you carry it yourself.
Okay.
So like you have a UPI which you give it to the others and they can scan and transfer funds. What is the thing which is at play here? Like, what is that unique thing of yours which can prove that you is your face, right?
Right.
So if you are able to embed that into a QR code, it's a technical challenge because QR code has limitation in the number of characters. However, with the limited trials, some organizations have done it within India itself, and one of our. So if you're able to do that, then you don't have to share it with anyone. You can scan the QR code. The data which is there in the QR code can get matched with the person who is standing in front of it, and done, right? So access can be provided. So it's completely decentralizes it.
I guess in future, utilizing AI, IoT, verification processes, and on all those technologies you talk about, these will be at zero Q kind of solution available for at least.
That's the dream. Yes, that's the dream we want to achieve. Yes, that's the vision we have. Walk in the park kind of an experience. Just keep walking. That is already achieved if you don't have a drop-in luggage, right? You actually walk in. Frisking is another area where a lot of technologies will come. We have seen it globally, wherein you don't even have to take out anything and you can keep it in the X-ray belt or the UV belt, and then it gets scanned, and you don't have to pull out anything, and you just keep walking. So yes, that is
Even very much don't have to bother about where is my bag going. It will be coming back to you. Yes, yes.
it can all be done that.
That's the biggest challenge for most of the time you didn't get your baggage.
Yes, it get delayed or it get lost. Yeah, so that's one of the another tough challenge in the industry. But yes, the AI and other technologies, there are initiatives going on. 2 days back itself, there was one bag tag provider who was demonstrating a solution to ease out this problem using the e-paper ink and creating a reusable map tag, because that stickers are still a great disservice to environment, and nobody wants those sticky things on your bags.
So the air tag we are putting in our bag, you don't have to put anything inside. It will be a reusable.
AI tag doesn't have a display, so these are some of those with a liquid ink display and all, which you can refresh every time. So Indigo does home printing of the boarding pass, right? So it comes in the PDF. Versus if, let's say, if we digitize it and an e-ink display which can show it. Every time you sync with Bluetooth, it shows you the new boarding. So you're travel ready for one more step at home.
Right.
And you just have to go and scan and move on. So yes, initiatives are happening.
And hopefully Digi Yatra will support.
Digi Yatra is always open for wherever without data exchange, I can facilitate any communications. We are more than happy to.
Great. Thank you so much, Siddharth. You had shared a lot of insight and it was great speaking to you. I came to know what happening is at Digi Yatra. And specifically, I am very much relieved because you are not storing anything.
Yeah,
That's a great part of this, for me at least.
that message has to go. Other than that, there are one or two more messages if we have time. 2 minutes. One is how do you opt out of a system is one big thing which every privacy enthusiast keeps asking, right? How do I opt out? You have to send emails. Then you have to find somewhere how do I unsubscribe and all that stuff. Digi Yatra, it's very easy. You go to the profile page, delete. Once you press that button, everything is deleted from your phone. And it was never there on the central server any which way.
So by chance, if you are switching your phone, it get deleted.
It will because it was on that phone. And by design, we are not saying that we'll let you transfer to the other phone, because privacy will come with some commas.
So when
We have to start it again.
it was asking for everything.
So that's the proof.
Yes.
That's the proof that thing is stored centrally.
Right.
So there is no way you can do it. And there has been requests to us that let's do it, allow the syncing. We want to keep it that way. Unless or until there is an extreme need, we are thinking of doing it for a few hours, let's say sync it on the cloud and then move the phone. But then we thought it's just a 2-minute thing. So privacy will cover the price. Some price at least. Then the other thing, DPDP talks actively about the minor consents. Minors cannot register on the app. So by default, that is taken care of. That workflow is already there in Digi Yatra, which now people are saying that we should do it this way. Minor will have to have an adult on the app, and then only minor can log in. So that's what the message I want to give is. It's not an afterthought. We are thinking through all these things and building it by design.
You are future ready.
We are future ready for DPDP at least, and many other things.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.